Hello, everyone. Welcome to our third webinar series of the series, Exploring Nurse Retention and Well-Being. New York Presbyterian is proud to partner with Nursing Now Challenge on this Global Solutions Initiative. My name is Rhoda Radulia. I'm the Director of Nursing Excellence and Magnet Recognition for New York Presbyterian. And today our team is here to share with you our best practices on nurse retention and well-being. I would like to introduce to you our Vice President for Nursing Operations, Dr. Marilu Prado-Inzerillo, to welcome us all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Radula, and welcome everyone. As Rhoda mentioned, I'm Marilu, and I work at New York Presbyterian Hospital, and also a sponsor of the Nursing Now Global Solutions Challenge Initiative, focusing on nurse retention and well-being. As we know, our nursing community is facing with the mental and emotional stresses every day, more so today due to the pandemic crisis in the last few years. As Rhoda mentioned, today is our third session, and thanks to her for putting together a lineup of amazing speakers who will discuss and provide us with tools, resources, and stories to support our mental health and well-being. Dr. Radula?
Thank you, Marilu. And I echo your excitement and pride with our team joining everyone here at our webinar today. So starting off with our first speaker, Penelope Theodoropoulos. Thank you so much for being here. Penelope is a clinical nurse educator at our Central Progressive Care Unit at our Morgan Stanley Children's Hospital. Penelope?
Hi, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. I'm going to go on and share my screen. So as Dr. Radula said, I am Penelope. I have been working on Morgan Stanley Children's Hospital for 5 years now. I was born and raised in Greece, and I finished nursing school there. And early on in my academic years, I realized what a love I have for this profession and for all the possibilities that it has. And that's kind of this passion for this is what brought me to the US and made me want to, get the best out of it. And I realized that in a role in education, you can inspire and help bring and shape like the future of nursing. And that's where I'm at right now. But today I'm going to talk a little bit more about promoting nurse resiliency and what that can look like. We all know, unfortunately, that COVID-19 hit, hard in a lot of the nurses, and it brought exhaustion and burnout with it. We saw a lot of the nurses take care of their patients, take care of their families, but a lot of the times leave themselves behind, and saw a lot of increase of mental health symptoms in them. And I also saw it hands-on with my colleagues, and I wanted to do something about it back then. So just seeing it wasn't enough. We needed to collect data. So we used the Maslow burnout inventory and collected the numbers and the data behind the problem. So we asked questions like, do you feel burned out because of work? Do you feel emotionally exhausted because of work? And then when we got the problem and the data, we created a team that included nursing leadership people, frontline nurses, pastoral care, other well-being coaches, and integrative therapies. And we all came together to find a way to troubleshoot and brainstorm and come up with a solution for this problem. What we did is we created this card deck that you can see on the screen, the colorful one, that included 30 QR codes, and it was distributed in 5 categories: fun, mindfulness, movement, music and art, and positive affirmation. So this was a tool to provide resources related to resiliency and self-care for every nurse. And it's something that they could use with their phone and scan the QR code, and it would take them to like a quick meditation or a quick yoga exercise. And we started demonstrating this, this tool at professional governance meetings, unit huddles, new hire orientations, and kind of like gave an extra, you know, resource to our nurses. So we collected data, and we found out that actually before and after that this tool helped a lot with to combat the burnout of our nurses, and we're really proud of it. And we continue to work on future steps. We created a resiliency card, as you can see in the picture, which includes treats, stress balls, aromatherapy, and our resiliency cards. And our team brings it around the hospital often to, you know, to give like a quick moment of reflection over, or a moment of like calmness for our nurses, and like a little break throughout their day. We want them to use these QR cards, the resiliency cards, kind of like throughout their day, like maybe during a break or after a code or a difficult situation, and just kind of like take the moment to breathe and take the moment for themselves that we all know they deserve. So sometimes it's hard because, you know, they feel shy or like they don't want to initiate a meditation or something like that. And that's where our unit resiliency champions get in there and kind of help them throughout this. We are also working on creating a resiliency pocket card where each nurse could have it on them, and they could use it throughout their day or anytime they might have a chance to like take a little break. And lastly, we are working on creating a resiliency tray that will be in every unit, and it will include aromatherapy, remembrance, and renewal resources. So it will be a specific spot where each nurse can go and take a minute, maybe to remember someone that had passed away or a difficult situation, and kind of renew themselves throughout this moment and the resources that are in that tray. So that was an initiative that like a lot of people kind of thought of this problem and was something that we needed to fix, and we all came together to do it. But I want like everyone, wherever they may be working, in a hospital or institution or anywhere, to know the available resources that they have and benefit from them. No matter where you are, there are resources, there are people there that want to help you and want to be there for you. So just knowing where to find them is an important role that you may have. I've been lucky to work with all these people that you see in the screen. I've been working with NYP art therapist for almost 2 years now. Suzanne has been coming on our unit around change of shift. And she does like these art therapy, creative art therapies. Sometimes it looks like tapping, other times it's mindful doodling, anything like that can take us away for a brief moment from work and like take this moment for ourselves. And it's something that we all look for and like are waiting for every time. We're also working with our NYP chaplains, like Jennifer Kent, who comes on our unit with mindfulness sessions. And a reminder that I always bring out for my team is a COPE NYP. It's a group of psychologists and other professionals that offer you free short-term counseling and also other wellness webinars. Of course, our NYPD Healthy coaches come in throughout the year, like in our units, and check in with us and collaborate with us with all these amazing projects. one specifically that I collaborated with an NYPB Healthy coach is, if you can see on your left, the blue sign, it was a project that I am kind of proud of. So it talked about like a negative issue that we all know it exists. It's called nursing incivility or lateral violence, and we all know it's out there, and it's something that has increased nursing turnover, but it's something that we need to find a solution. We need to act upon it. So I targeted that problem, and I collaborated with the NYPB Healthy coach. So we came up with an educational intervention and kind of did like role-playing scenarios where we would go through a negative experience we may have had and kind of turn that into a positive, more respectful and effective communication experience. But there's so many other things you can do throughout your day to bring up like the positivity and the morale on your unit, like bring up the Daisy Award, create a press for your unit every month and remind them of all the well-being activities are out there. But at the end of the day, even if your hospital or your organization doesn't have these resources, you can be the source of resilience for your unit. All you need to do is listen to the people that come to you, listen to yourself, put some boundaries, understand what you need, and collaborate with the people that come to you and with the experts that are out there and know what they're doing and how to help you. Learn from them, learn from yourself, and act. Find a goal, find a solution to these problems, and then evaluate. Did my plan work? Do I need to add something else? Do I need help? And just be kind to yourself and to the people around you. You never know what they may be going through. But remember, you are resilient and you have the power that it takes to bring up all this from yourself and others. And lastly, I want to end with a quote that I found from Jada DeWalt saying, "When we learn how to become resilient, we learn how to embrace the beautifully broad spectrum of the human experience." And that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Penelope. What a beautiful quote and really excellent work. I can't speak enough of the creativity, the innovation of the team, and really your commitment to track data so you can continue to provide meaningful interventions. And also really went out there to disseminate it. So kudos to you and the team, really something for all of us to learn from and hopefully replicate, not just within our organization, but across the globe with our audience here. Okay, so now coming up is our segment with our well-being coaches. I now turn this over to Cynthia Wong and Maria Biondi, who are our New York Presbyterian well-being coaches. Thank you.
Thank you for that introduction, Rhoda. Hello, everyone. I'm Cynthia. I'm a registered dietitian as well as a national board certified health and wellness coach. And today I'll be presenting on nourishment for nursing with my colleague, Maria Biondi. All right, so we're gonna talk about and gain an understanding of current nutrition trends in the nursing population. We'll share some potential risk factors for nurses, as well as share tangible tips for nutrition on and off shift that nurses can use. So I wanted to start off with this quote from Florence Nightingale, who's the mother of modern nursing, right? And Florence Nightingale was actually a huge advocate of self-care, right? So this quote here, I am convinced that the greatest heroes are those who do their duty in the daily grind of a domestic affairs, whistle the world whirls as a maddening dreidel, right? So this kind of captures what a nurse might go through on like an outpatient unit or even an inpatient unit where the world is kind of, whirling around them, right? That madness that they're experiencing on the units, especially when they're short-staffed, right? But that ability to still, take a moment to take care of themselves, right, makes them a hero. Right? And we're going to take that and bring it, the nutrition component to it, right? So this idea of stopping to eat. Right? So it's important to nourish yourself, right, for a variety of reasons, and we're going to highlight 4 during this presentation, right? So 1, for balance, right? When we're properly nourished, right, we're fueling our brain, we're fueling our body, right? We're giving ourselves that energy needed in order to complete those tasks that we need to complete. On the floor, attend to our patients. Right? It helps to increase our overall energy, right? When you're feeling really hungry and you don't have proper nourishment, right, you're not going to have that energy to do the work that you need to do, right? Or you're not going to be doing it properly. Maybe because you're distracted by just how hungry you are. And number 3, right? Proper nutrition can help with weight management, whether it be you're trying to lose weight, maintain your weight, or even gain some weight, right? And then more importantly, proper nutrition helps to improve health markers, right? So eating right can help to improve things like your cholesterol levels or your blood sugar levels, right? Which we know are ultimately important for maintaining like how our brain is processing information, right? Also our moods throughout the day, right? So that resilience that Penelope was talking about earlier, right? Having proper nutrition can help us maintain that. And then finally, stress reduction. So there are plenty of studies out there that have shown that when we are properly nourished, we can actually handle stress better. Next slide, please. Thank you. All right, so potential obstacles to getting balanced nutrition within the nursing population, right? Schedule, we know, is a big one. Right? When you have a hectic schedule, when you're short, right, it can be really difficult to even, sit down and think about what you're going to eat, let alone prepare foods that you can eat, right? Stress, right? Stress can affect our appetites. Some people, right, eat too much when they're stressed, and then others end up not eating because they're stressed. Right, adequate breaks, right? This is another big one, and it's related to scheduling. Right, there might not be enough time for a break during the day, right? It might seem too busy to take a break. Breaks might be too short, right? Or maybe it's scheduled at a time that's not, right, that doesn't align with your current eating patterns. And last on the list there, availability. So access to healthy, nutritious options is a big one, right? Oftentimes we'll see on the units unhealthy snacks and easy access to things like cakes, cookies, right? They're kind of up in abundance on our units, right? But access to foods like things like fresh fruit, vegetables that are, that come in a form that's palatable to us, right? They're less available, especially for individuals that maybe work the overnight shift. And now I'll pass it along to Maria to finish us off for this presentation.
Thanks so much, Cynthia. Hi again, I'm Maria. I'm one of the well-being coaches on our wellness team. And thank you, Cynthia, for really kind of setting the stage of why nutrition is so important in this amazing population and some of the barriers to that. Being based at Queens, Cynthia is based at our Brooklyn campus. We often hear sometimes nurses they want to get everything done and care for their patients and don't always feel the opportunity to pause. And sometimes nurse managers may encourage the breaks and say, go take a pause. But, our nurses are so caring and then stress does play into that. Of course, when you finally get a chance to take a break, you may just grab something quickly. So definitely some really great points. And we know this also when we look at some of the data. So on the next slide, we just pulled together some basic research. Some of the current research shows that night shift employees particularly consume a higher volume of total calories, protein, carbs, fat, sugar, saturated fat and calcium in the day shift. So one of the studies that we looked at showed an average of 150 calories additional and 7 grams more fat per night shift nurse. Actually, controversially, the opposite was found in the busier units. So in the emergency department, it was seen that there was less nutrition overall, but hydration was also poor. So sometimes not having that opportunity to grab a drink of water or take a pause, you may have lower intake as well. So really starting to look at kind of what could be besides the barriers, looking at some of the data really showing how nutrition can be so important to a population that really serves the community and making sure that they take care of themselves. So some simple, actionable ideas towards wholesome eating that we wanted to share. Some that we've seen that have been helpful and some that hopefully can be easily implemented. First, having a communal healthy snack station. This can really be done in 2 different ways. All the team or the unit can bring a large volume of one healthy snack, or one person can collect a few dollars and then purchase something in a large volume. So for example, a 100-calorie bag of popcorn or low sugar granola bars or things that can be easily stored in a break room. Something our team has done in the past that really went well was a salad potluck. So often when we do lunches, we may order out or grab pizza or something convenient. But this is a fun idea. So essentially each person would bring one piece of a salad. So for example, someone can bring the lettuce, someone can bring another vegetable, someone can bring toppings, someone can bring dressing, and then you're able to create this really nice bar and everyone can sort of pick and choose and make their own salad. Bringing in a healthy recipe swap. I am totally in awe of all the countries that were on this webinar today. So bringing in a healthy recipe from your own family or friends, that can be an easy idea for people on the go. It could be another idea and an opportunity to collaborate and share together. Handheld snacks. Cynthia and I are both dietitians, and I know we both talk about easy portable snacks. So fruit like bananas, oranges, apples, they're easily thrown in a bag and great for people that are on the move. Having a fridge or microwave available can be so impactful. So people do feel empowered to bring items from home and be able to reheat them quickly and enjoy them for lunch or their meal. Taking breaks, again, as Cynthia mentioned, we know is so important. Sometimes having a break buddy, a person you can partner up with who can say, hey, take 5 minutes, go to the bathroom, grab a drink of water, have a snack and come back and we'll swap. This way there is that coverage, but also that opportunity to really pause and check in with one another. And then finally, hydration. So having a reusable water bottle, a place to fill it, and making sure, even if it's hard to necessarily take a full break and drink all your water, getting a few sips in throughout the day. So we wanted to also share just a couple of, again, simple snack ideas. I think they're not necessarily reinventing the wheel. Sometimes it's just going back to the basics. So whole foods, whole fruits or vegetables, again, can be easily great for people on the go. Sometimes I recommend buying those crudité platters, those already pre-cut vegetables in the grocery store. And this way they can go into bags and be easily taken to work without any prep. A peanut butter and banana sandwich or a nut butter and fruit sandwich, something really simple and easy, can be made the day before. Having a handful of nuts or dates. Dates have great energy to them. Nuts great for focus and energy as well. Packing a smoothie, so getting the ingredients together the day before so that when it's time to head to work, they can be put right into the blender, mixed and ready to go. Again, bags of popcorn, dried chickpeas or dried edamame, also great snacks. All the snacks we're listing are a really nice balance of protein and fiber. Protein to keep nurses full and fiber to help regulate blood sugar. So we really wanted to be mindful of offering ideas that balance the two. And then finally, something like a yogurt that can have fruits or even a cheese stick with an apple or a piece of fruit. So ideas that, again, simple, can be easily thrown into the bag and ready for on the go. And then finally, we just wanted to share a quick recipe idea. So steel cut oats or regular oats as well can be made the night before, the day before for people who are working shift and be brought into work. So taking the oats, putting them in water, boiling them, and then if you want to make them sweet, you can add walnuts, bananas, blueberries, flax seeds. If you prefer savory, you can also add a little drizzle of olive oil and your favorite fish or meat. So you can really make this sweet or savory depending on kind of your palate. Again, we're talking to an international group, so I'm sure there's all different ideas that can be incorporated here. So as we wrap up, I just want to thank this group for the time and this opportunity. It is National Nutrition Month here, and also Registered Dietitian Day is next week. And again, as Cynthia and I are registered dietitians, we just want to thank you for allowing us to share a couple of ideas with you all. So thanks.
Thanks so much, Cynthia and Maria, and happy Registered Dietitians Week to you and your entire team, and we are grateful for your expertise and all your contributions, and your commitment to help nurses, help all of us. And I will definitely take to heart some of those actionable ideas to wholesome eating that you shared, and also, of course, Cynthia, all those pearls of nutrition that you have shared earlier. Thank you. Okay, moving on to Dr. Peter Stopan, who is our Magnet Program Director at our New York Presbyterian Morgan Stanley Children's Hospital campus, who will share with us some more pointers for well-being, for nurse well-being, and himself a nurse leader and a certified Pilates instructor. I'm sure I will learn something new from him today. Peter, take it away.
Thank you so much, Dr. Radulia, and I hope so. So before I begin, let's just take a moment and have a nice, easy breath, centering breath together. I like to raise my shoulders up to my ears on the inhale, and then exhale, let them drip down my back. And one more time, inhale up and exhale down. So thank you so much for having me today. I am blown away by the international representation. I hope to see some of you or all of you at the International Council of Nurses in Montreal, the Congress coming up later this year. So thinking about nurses, the title of my time with you is Healthy Nurse, ? And what nurses and nurse leaders can do. So thinking and beginning with a reflection. The American Nurses Association states that for nearly every indicator, the health of America's nurses is worse than that of the average American. And that could be true internationally as well. So this is sobering for me and true for me. Health and health promotion is a personal issue and a balance that I try to strike every day. Prior to nursing, my first degree and first career was acting, professional musical theater. So integrating art and nursing is a lifelong passion and pursuit of mine, and finding that work and well-being harmony is an ongoing goal every single day. So it's known that nurses are more likely to be overweight, have higher levels of stress, get less than the recommended hours of sleep, and be more prone to work injury. So because healthcare delivery requires 24/7 support, we have different demands than the rest of the global workforce. So what can we do about it? Self-care is essential. Self-care is not selfish. And self-care is not limited to one definition, because what may work for me might not work for you, and what may work for one team might not work for the other. So the existing literature shows that the failure to engage in self-care can have a negative impact on our well-being. Some more quick facts by ANA and some research by a colleague, Dr. Nolan, has done. 1.6 billion humans globally are overweight. 650 million are classified as obese using BMI. 30.4 is the average BMI of nurse leaders. That is above the healthy of 24.9. Only 43% of nurse leaders participate in health and wellness programs. So the health and wellness programs are available, but less than half of nurse leaders, the role models for our institutions, are actually taking advantage. And only less than half of nurse leaders get the recommended, or only get 6 hours of sleep, excuse me. Less than half get 6 hours of sleep, which means we are failing in taking care of ourselves. So I argue that we are not putting our own oxygen mask on before helping others. I argue that we're not successful health promoting role models. So what can we do about it? So all nurses are leaders, which means that we have an opportunity to inspire and role model healthy behaviors and self-care activities. So today, let's explore what can we do for ourselves, what can we do for our teams and colleagues, and therefore we can think upstream and downstream. So what can we do for ourselves? Let's look at the environment and behaviors. So are you standing or are you sitting? Either way, our bodies are meant to move. We are not supposed to be in a static, stagnant position for more than 40 to 60 minutes at a time. So I invite you, as you're listening right now, if you've been sitting for more than 45 minutes, stand up. If you've been standing for more than 45 minutes, sit down and take a little break. Move your body around, feel it. Look at your computer right now, or your phone, however you're joining. Is it at eye level or slightly there in that area? Or is it too low? Is it too high? These are quick fixes that we need to be aware of every single day. We should be prioritizing our ergonomics and our body posture and wellness. Look at the computers around your workstations at work for your teams. If you have the privilege of inspiring and role modeling for a team of other nurses, look at their computers. Look at the chair height. These are small, quick fixes that you can work with your team and your institution and improve the overall health of your team. One other trick that I like to have is there a mirror right by your computer? Not always for vanity reasons, but of course that's a plug for looking at yourself and self-appreciation and self-love. But having a mirror by your workstation can help with your own posture check. Now that we're in the technology or digital age, we're all hunching forward looking at our phones and computers. So having that mirror right near your workstation can remind you to roll your shoulders back like we did in the beginning of our time, and also to check your posture throughout the day. How about a water check? How many of us have water right now near our station? Take a moment, look. If you don't have water, I also invite you, you have the ability to get up and hopefully get yourself a cup of hydration or water somehow, somewhere. Same with your teams. How do you support and promote their hydration? If not, what are the daily reminders that you can do to support this? And so looking at the behaviors for yourself, what works for one does not work for others, but think about how you can incorporate it into a routine and make it stick for you. Because again, what happens for me might not happen for you. So let's think about our teams and the environment and behaviors. So we talked a little bit about the posture check and the ergonomics and the hydration already, but how do you support and start the conversation of health and wellness and self-care for your teams? Is it a part of your every single meeting? Do you start every single meeting with a moment of mindfulness? Or do you end every meeting? If not, that's something that you can add to your standing agenda for every single meeting or huddle or staff meeting, etc. Do you have a visibility board for your team or for yourself? And on that, is there a daily reminder or a regular reminder to incorporate wellness in your activities? If not, that's a great $0 way to start the conversation. It might be unreasonable to think that we can take over a healthcare space or on a health unit to use it as a meditation space every single day, all day long, because we all take care of patients in teams, and so we have to prioritize that. But how can you incorporate a workspace or a team space into a meditation space, maybe on a semi-regular basis, once a month, or for special events? We heard from Penelope and our other team members from NYP earlier about the resiliency cart and the initiatives that we do here. But what is lying around your unit that might not be used right now? Is there an empty bowl? Fill it. If there's an empty cart, use it. You can take resources around to your teams at any time at low cost. Another fun way to incorporate health and wellness for your teams is centering it around the holidays that you celebrate in your own cultures. So make it part of that celebration, whether it's Nurses Week or your own natural holiday, whatever works for you, incorporate that there. We talked about how healthy eating can be a big obstacle in healthcare, but I love the tips by Maria and Cynthia earlier, and I'm certainly going to incorporate those as well. So again, start small and ask your team what would work for them. What are they passionate about? And follow their lead. So we're all scientists, and I argue that we do a great job when we think about quality improvement or performance improvement, when we think about the PDSA cycle of improvement when it comes to quality patient outcomes. But are we doing that when it comes to health and wellness? Are we doing that when it comes to thinking about ways to instill a framework to improve our own health or our team's health? I argue that we are not. We're not looking at the cycle. We're not seeing the trends. We're not looking at data enough to make sure that we're thinking outside the box and making sure that something sticks in a standard and consistent way. So measure our success. Look at it. Are we tying our engagements or initiatives related to health and well-being to engagement scores or retention? If not, then that's something that we can start right now. You can even create your own survey when you create an initiative. Check in with your team and see how they feel, how they're responding, and how we're doing to support their health and wellness. You can also track your own attendance over series and over time. So some quick successes that I've experienced when I've had the privilege of leading teams related to health and wellness, whether it's a health and wellness challenge or a health and wellness series or the resiliency card, etc. The more creative you are, I would argue that the more success you'll have. You know, when we think outside the variety and variability piece, you know, starting with meditation, every single meeting is a great start, but after a while, it might get stale. So think creatively, think how you can think outside the box and create that variety and variability. Low budget obviously is a big win for anyone in healthcare or any business for that matter. Now that we're in 2023, I'm sure we can all agree low budget is a major success. So again, think about your resources on your team's unit or in your department. What's laying around it that's not being used, and how can you adapt it to support your team? And the more people who are involved in your initiatives, the better they'll be. You'll have more help, you'll have more creative ideas, and things will stick and be more consistent. Some quick pitfalls that I've experienced, of course, and I will continue to experience, is not considering the passions or interests of the audience. If we're not listening to what our teams or even what our own bodies are telling us they need, then we're not going to succeed. If we're not consistent, it won't be successful. If we say that we're going to do a health and wellness challenge every single month, but you forget to do it after the second or third month, then people lose focus, people lose interest, and they lose faith in the initiative itself. We have to consider those off shifts. Some of us might work day shift only, but when we're not considering all the 24/7 that goes into healthcare, we're not taking care of our entire team, and therefore we're not succeeding. And then, of course, we have to be kind to ourselves and be patient. As we create these initiatives, we have to remember that it does take time to influence culture and see that culture change. So keep going, think like a scientist, and try again, and be patient as your programs grow and develop. With that, I'll turn it back to Dr. Rhoda or Julia. I'm so humbled and honored to be with you all, and I can't wait to hear more ideas from you all. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Peter Stofan. And I love all those low-hanging fruits that you have shared with us, the quick wins that we can do right in our immediate environment and within our teams. Definitely something to learn and implement. Moving on to our next presentation, Homie Sansolo, who is our Magnet Clinical Program Coordinator at our New York Presbyterian Westchester Hospital, who is herself a nurse leader and a certified yoga instructor. I'm just in awe of everyone. And I am really looking forward to Homie's presentation, Promoting Joy and Preventing Burnout. Homie will be sharing us her journey with her team at Westchester, conducting wellness fairs for nurses. Homie?
Thank you, Dr. Radula. Can everyone see my screen? Excellent. So my name is Homie Sansolo. I'm our Magnet Program Director, as Dr. Radula said, at New York-Presbyterian Westchester Hospital. But I do have the pleasure of working with the entire team of panelists that you see here. New York-Presbyterian is part of an 11 campus hospital organization. And I just have to say it's a joy to be part of this team. Prior to working at New York-Presbyterian, the hospital I worked at did not prioritize wellness in the same way. They did not have structures where they had resiliency coaches, wellness coaches, dietitians. And so it's just been an absolute honor and privilege to be able to work with these teams and these experts and a group that really understands that wellness isn't just fluff, but really the essential thing we need to focus on to be successful. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about promoting joy and preventing burnout. A big focus in the last year or two of our senior leaders and our chief nursing officers has been talking about how do we bring more joy into work. And we know that's really been important. In the pandemic, we really had that kind of survival mode. So moving beyond that and saying, well, how can we not only survive, prevent burnout, but how can we actually enjoy ourselves while we were in the walls of our hospital? How can we make, daily activities, daily meetings a bit more joyful has been a really big focus. So I wanted to share with you two simple strategies that maybe you can bring back with your teams. And it's two things that we've been doing over the past year that has had a huge impact on our teams. So the first is we do a quarterly wellness fair. So every 3 months, and sometimes we need it more often, so sometimes every 2 months, we set up a big wellness focused gathering. We get 3 groups within our hospital to focus on organizing and setting these up. We pull in our Magnet ambassadors. So as Rhoda said, I'm the Magnet program coordinator. So our Magnet ambassadors are really the nurses that are gearing us up for the Magnet journey. They are the cheerleaders. They are excited. They are passionate. And so they're a great group to engage to really bring wellness to the team. The second group we engage is we have a nursing research and evidence-based practice council. And so this council of nurses is really focused on how do we bring best practices and evidence-based literature into what we do. So this group is also a big part of our wellness fairs because we want to make sure that anything that we are doing is evidence-based. It's backed by science and it has proven results. And then the third group is we created, and this was created right at the end of the pandemic, is a wellness and employee engagement work group. And this group we've pulled together, it's not just nursing, it's interprofessional leaders throughout the hospital. And they meet really with the focus of how do we engage our teams and how do we promote wellness. So every 3 months we set up a big wellness fair in the hospital. It is geared towards our day and night shift teams. As Peter said, we have to think about everyone when we do these events. And we use space that we have. We use existing resources. So this is at no cost to our organization because there are so many experts in healthcare. And so we get together and really just make it an environment where people can celebrate, relax, decompress. We use our internal experts to create kind of different projects or programs that they can walk through in the wellness fair. So these are just a few pictures. We try to make them based on the season, based on the holiday that is nearby. We always have really healthy treats available. And then we have different tables. So people can come in if it's just for 3, 4, 5 minutes, they pop in and they have a nice moment. Some people are able to come for their entire break. They'll come for a full hour, even an hour and a half if they can. And they'll walk through these stations. Some things we've done is we have like our Reverend Henry. He's great with aromatherapy. We'll give people different aromatherapy to try. A shout out to some of the nurses on this call, our director, Kathy Lombardi, Marianne O'Brien, and Debbie Thomas. They're always a part of this. There's a picture of Debbie there. We have a knitting club. They do knitting. We created a book swap. So we set up a central spot in the hospital that's just a bookshelf. And we told everyone, bring your books here. You can swap them out, take one when you want. And it's been very popular, especially with our readers. We have nutritionists come and talk about proper diet. And then we have relaxing activities. I myself teach yoga and meditation, so we do that. So does our wellness specialist. We do coloring, painting. So we always have something fun and new for the team to do. And it's just a nice time to finally come back together and focus on our wellness. We always have nice mood lighting, beautiful music, and sometimes just simply having someone walk in for a minute, they're like, I feel better than when I first came in. So that's one thing we highly recommend, is just getting these wellness events, whether they're small or big, has been a really nice way to reunite the team and really prioritize our wellness. And then the other strategy I wanted to share is really about community outreach. So we know we have to, as Peter said, put an air mask on us first, take care of ourselves before we take care of others. But we all know realistically, as nurses and healthcare professionals, we're really good at taking care of others while we take care of ourselves. So something that our team has really enjoyed is saying, how can we take all this internal expertise and bring it to our community, our local community, and serve? So we have recently established, actually, I'd say it's been a couple of years now, established a partnership, in this case with Grammaton Village. It is a organization that really focuses on the care of elderly population, making sure that they can vibrantly age, they can live in their own homes, they can build communities. And so we have partnered with this organization. And so every month, we take one of our internal experts and we provide an educational session at the local library. It's right down the street, easy for us to get to. And we do topics that are important to this group. We also really build connections so that they're familiar with the nurses, the dietitians, the physicians, the healthcare workers that are right down the street in their local community hospital. So we do this every month. It's been a really great success. Some of the topics have been evidence-based wellness strategies done by our research and EVP Nursing Council. Social isolation during the holidays, that was a big, important topic for this group. Preventing heart disease, fall prevention, end-of-life planning. And so I have to say, this has been a really nice experience, not only for our community, but the nurses and the healthcare workers who do this each month. It just fills their cup. We always leave this feeling like, wow, we have so much to offer, and it feels so good to make those relationships. So highly recommend partnering with your local organizations to see what you can do to promote wellness within the community, and then inevitably you promote it within yourself when you're doing that. It's a wonderful feeling. So I hope those 2 ideas of wellness fairs and serving the community were helpful, and just a really, really big thank you to this team. It's a pleasure to collaborate with them, and it's an honor to share with you all throughout the entire globe. Very exciting. So thank you. I'll pass it back to Dr. Radula.
Thank you so much, Homie. And I really love the collaboration and how you all pool your resources together and commit to the wellness of your team and also in the community. So really kudos to you and the team and the amazing leadership and support of your leadership there at Westchester Hospital. Okay, so I I took a lot of notes, and I'm sure many of you did as well. I have some key takeaways from Penelope's resilient cards and resiliency pointers, and the healthy eating, balanced eating tips from Maria and Cynthia. Also took a lot of notes from Peter's presentation, of course, with what can we do, from like implementing things in on our immediate environment and our teams to homies sharing and pointers. So I'm really living this webinar today with a lot of inspiration and some actionable tips to implement. And I am just reminded of this quote from Katie Reed, which goes, "Self-care is giving others the best of you instead of what's left of you." And I think today we got a lot of reminders and really practical pointers to help make that happen. And once again, as we are closing this third of the series of like webinars on exploring nurse retention well-being, just really highlighting that this is the latest Nursing Now Challenge Global Solutions Initiative in partnership with NewYork-Presbyterian. And as you know, we are joined here today by our Vice President for Nursing Operations, Dr. Marilu Prado-Inzerillo, who has really been very supportive of this partnership. And this Global Solutions Initiative will run until March 27th, where nurses and midwives across the globe, you're all encouraged and welcome to develop an idea. You got a lot of ideas this past 3 webinars for an activity or project that focuses on matters relating to nurse retention and well-being. And we will be picking a winner after we review all the submissions. And the winner of this challenge will get a complimentary seat from one of our continuing professional development activities offered by our New York Presbyterian Institute of Nursing Excellence and Innovation, and also one-to-one mentorship from one of our magnet program directors to be able to implement your project, and a prize money from Nursing Now to contribute towards the development of your activity. Does that sound exciting to you? Well, I'm sure many of you are eager to submit your proposals, and we will be awaiting for all your entries. And with that, I will pause to see if we have questions from the audience that we can respond to. Our panelists are still here to be able to respond to your questions. We are checking our Q&A here. You can post them too on our Q&A box. While waiting for more questions, any final words from our panelists? We have a lot of comments from, of course, from our audience, all the wonderful ideas. Like everyone was really in awe of all the excellent presentation and insight. And I couldn't keep up with everyone who, like from with the location of everyone who's joining us from Brazil to Nigeria to the UK. I think I also saw Qatar, Pakistan, Myanmar, I on and on. It was just really inspiring to see everyone who was able to join today. And I know that we are all on a different time zone, and our Nursing Now team shared with us that there were over 140 who registered, and they will be tuning into the webinar when it's daytime on their time. So that probably will be in the next few days. Oh, Ghana as well. Thank you. All right, I don't see any more questions here. So with that, I am closing this webinar, and I would like to thank all our panelists and all our participants who joined us today. And this will be available as soon as our Nursing Now team posts that on their YouTube site, for Nursing Now. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. Have a great day, wherever you are in the globe.